Poly is to be trusted, but it's way deeper than that. Whether you're open to it or not, you've been propositioned to participate with a couple. I know I'm not the only one. Some of us probably prefer entangling with couples. I've talked to a polyamorous, pansexual, cisgender man who is married to a cis woman who is also poly and pan. I thought the conversation was going to be about crazy sex stories and relationships with no rules, but actually, he talked about communication and self-awareness.
Polyamorous relationships require for us to interrogate more and actually establish more boundaries, because in some ways with monogamy, the boundaries are just assumed. We're just going to be with each other.
I absolutely agree with that. Yes.
Whereas with polyamory, it's a conversation about boundaries.
Poly and other forms of non-monogamy are just like any other relationship. But before you pop your poly cherry, there are some questions that came up for me in my conversation. Number one, are my needs going to be met? If my partner is splitting his attention between me and others, will I be happy? Number two, am I secure enough to give space for someone to love multiple people at the same time? Love can be a really jealous process. Do I have the emotional capacity to accept that my guy may want to share his love, his sex, and his life with others? Can I lean into tough conversations without checking out? Finding a version of poly that works for you takes a lot of figuring out. Do you have the endurance to talk about a topic until there's clarity? And number four, do I have the time, effort, and attention to give to multiple people at the same time? If you participate in multiple relationships, do you have the capacity to meet the needs of everyone you're connected to? Tonight, me and two of my Judies are hashing through our dating stories to figure out if we could participate with an already established couple. Could we be the third in a throuple? Or could we be open to an open relationship, physically, emotionally, and or sexually? Tonight on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. We know that poly and open can be trusted, but can you step your pussy up and do it? This is Open to Open Explained, and the show starts right now. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG, and we're live from the back room right here on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. Next Thursday, Hope Giselle, Conscious Lee, and I will be having our first stop in Atlanta for the Unlikely Throuple Tour. Check this out. It all started in Seattle, Washington. The HIV Vaccine Trials Network brought together trans, queer, and women's rights activist Hope Giselle, social justice warrior, and your favorite cousin on your daddy's side, Conscious Lee, and me to create new ways of talking about issues among people impacted by HIV. Then I had a big idea. What if we took this dope conversation out of the conference room and across the country? After some brainstorming in Washington, D.C., and some creativity from Hope, the big idea had a name: the Unlikely Throuple.
The Unlikely Throuple was supposed to be able to sprinkle and marinate a little bit of flavor while giving you some thought-provoking, analysis and thinking real intersectional.
It's an event series to talk about Black culture. The Unlikely Throuple brings together cis and transgender experience, gay, pan, and straight, men and women, social justice, and culture, to talk about topics that are relevant to all of us.
Letting folks know that folks from all walks of life can definitely get together and have conversations that change the world.
Since our partners at the HIV Vaccine Trials Network bought out all the tickets to create this opportunity, we want to use this event as a way to give back. So I posted in the DBGN fan broadcast channel asking who are some charities and organizations that we can give to in the Atlanta area. Overwhelmingly, the girls said NASEM. NASEM is a nationally recognized HIV/AIDS service organization based here in Atlanta, and they provide testing, clinical service, mental health counseling, and so much more. They also put on the National Leadership Conference on Health Disparities and Social Justice every year, which I understand is coming to Los Angeles next year. To talk more about the important work, please welcome Travi. Hey, Travi.
Y'all.
How are you?
Up? I am blessed and highly flavored.
You are always blessed and highly favored, friend. How do you feel on this afternoon?
I am blessed and highly flavored.
Agreed. What do you taste like then?
I taste like strawberry.
You know, I believe that for you. You give a light fruity flavor,
You
a
know,
little fruit
yes.
punch, a little strawberry Sprite giving.
Mwah.
Okay,
Yes.
so you work with NASM, of course. And so tell us
Yes.
about your work at NASM. What do you do within the organization? Because I know you wear many hats.
I do. So, again, my name is Travi. I serve as the prevention coordinator at the agency where we do free HIV and STI testing. We go all the way down to linkage, to treatment, to therapy. We host events. We have a drop-in center. We have a clothing closet. We just try to meet the clients right where they at.
Uh-oh, we're having a Travi.
Uh, y'all see me? Y'all hear
Y-
me? I'm still there.
We can see you, we can hear
Okay.
you. Okay, so you meet the clients where they're at.
Okay.
And so what have been some of are there challenges that y'all are facing in doing the work of the people? Travi, what's going on with your phone?
The girls are trying to call me, and I'm like, baby, stop calling me, okay? Um,
Booked and busy.
yes. What was the question again?
Well,
Yes,
so are there
but you.
challenges in meeting the needs of the girls?
Honestly, yes. One of the biggest challenges is that um it's for me, in my personal opinion, it's the misconception of that prep is only for black gay men. We have a lot of
Really?
people that come into the yes, we literally have a lot of people that come into the agency that are oh I'm not having gay sex or
What is gay
what
sex?
I'm
What do they mean when they say that? What is the gay
you know
sex?
th- you know it's let me tell you just a
I
couple of
have
things.
great
It's
sex
me too.
and I
You
happen to be one of the
know,
girls.
yeah. But we either have we I hear that I'm not having gay sex. I hear that I'm not a bottom, so I should not be taking prep. Like these are a lot of the things that I hear when people come into the agency. So it's a lot of misconception when it comes to just education around prep. And I'm like, okay, we need to start back on sex 101. And then also with just alone, we have a lot of our college students are not educated on HIV and STIs. And so that's why one of the things that we are striving to do is to make sure that we get on the college campuses to do sex education, to educate our freshmen, that's coming into Atlanta and just educating them on just the importance around sexual health.
I'm really excited about that, Travi. I'm so excited that we have a surprise for you. Are you ready for this?
Okay, what's the gaga?
Okay, so like I said, if it hadn't been for our amazing partners at the HIV vaccine trials, that half the my team started laughing at you, Travi. What's the guy? But if it hadn't been for our amazing partners at the HIV vaccine trials network, we wouldn't have this opportunity. So, at the Unlikely Throuple show next Thursday, October 24th in Atlanta, our guests will have the opportunity to donate to NASM directly and help move their mission of addressing issues around health disparities forward. But then I thought, because I'm pretty smart. I don't know if you know that I'm pretty smart.
What's the tea?
So sick, because I was like, you agree I'm pretty smart, right?
And I know you're pretty smart.
I am
I'm just
fishing for
kind of.
compliments. Okay. But I thought it would be great if we could get more donations. So Team DBGM, my team and I have agreed to match all of the donations coming in, 100% of the donations coming in next Thursday, up to $250 during the event. Woo!
Let me tell you, I was for the cuss, but I don't. But I'm trying to still represent the agency. But
You say, but hold on. But wait, there's more. But then I
oh my god,
thought,
y'all really gagging me.
I know every dollar counts, but
It does.
$250 ain't gonna change the world. So I got on the phone. My whole team
Hmm.
and I, we got on the phone, and some of our friends, some friends of the show, have committed to joining us in matching donations dollar for dollar up to the first $250. All in all, we have agreed to a 300% match of the first $250. So if y'all
Yes.
get $250, you're gonna get another $750 from us and my partners here at the show. But there's a
Bless y'all
catch.
heart. What's
There's
the
a
tea?
catch. You
Give
ready?
it to me. I'm
So
always ready, baby.
we are 30 tickets away from a sold out
Okay.
show. The tickets are
Okay.
free. So all Team NASM has to do is get 30 people to RSVP before I'll give y'all the end of the week.
Oh, baby,
Before
we can get
tomorrow,
that.
30 more people have to RSVP to our show. They got to be in Atlanta and they got to show up.
Okay.
Are you ready for
I'm here
this,
for it.
Travi?
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, the Unlikely Throuple is a dope conversation with some of our favorite content creators. I'm on cast with Hope Giselle and Conscious Lee. It's a show you don't want to miss, and the tickets are free. Team NASM, if you are up to the task, then I would love to partner with you to make this happen.
I'm here for it. Let's make this happen. Like, yeah. And I love me some you.
Well, we might need to talk offline about that. But I want you and Team NASM to get in the group chats, get on your Zoom calls, share the link on social media, text all your Atlanta friends, because we want to make this happen with NASM to support this magnificent organization.
Thank you all so much. I'm over here like I just got my makeup done. I'm over here like finna cry. Thank y'all so effing much, like for real.
Don't cry. I mean, don't run your makeup, but you can shed a tear. We're always looking for a TV moment here. Thank you, Travi. Okay. All right. So Travi is actually getting ready for a performance. So the fact that you took the time to stop by the show so we could surprise you with this is really, really amazing. Thank you for that, Travi. I appreciate you.
Cause I love you. I love you. I love Dear Black Gay Men and then Throuple. Cause I love a Throuple, baby.
Well, we about to talk about some thruples. We planned that. You see how we did that? You see how we put that all together? Because we talk about open to open. You see how we put it together? Okay, so when we come back, I'm checking in with my studio guests to see what they've had it with in Black gay culture. This is Open to Open Explained. And we will be right back. What up, dog? The conversations stay lit on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Hookup, entanglement, situation, relationship, everything from dushing to dating. A top verb, but I am not a top noun. I am a guru at first dates. It's new every Wednesday. Subscribe now. Okay, Aaron, do you think HIV is still a big deal?
I do. When I look at the numbers and things like that, I have to like burst myself out of my own bubble because for me, it's not a big deal. I go to the doctor, I get my 2 shots or my shots every 2 months, and like HIV is a non-factor for me. Mm-hmm. But then I realize all of the privileges in my life that allow me to do that.
What about you, Verity? Is HIV a big deal? Because you are an ally.
I am an ally. And so I feel like on a day-to-day, it's honestly not something that's top of mind. But being a part of the podcast, and I didn't realize just how prevalent it still was.
That's why this episode is brought to you in part by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. HIV has been a huge part of my life as a gay man, and the HIV Vaccine Trials Network is working to minimize that, because ending HIV is about all of us.
For me, as an ally, I wasn't truly aware of the impact HIV has on our lived experiences until we started working with the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. Now that I know about this network, I feel like there's a real way for me to get involved in the fight against HIV. I've been able to get educational resources on HIV, stay up to date on HIV research, and enroll in studies to help end HIV.
If you would like more information or get involved in an HIV vaccine trial, whether you're living with HIV or not, visit helpendhiv.org. That's helpendhiv.org. The link is in the description. Get in the conversation. This comment says, I did a good job. It's time for a congratulatory ejaculation session. Chat live on the show and get exclusive content.
The bottoms are going to eat me up for this in the chat.
Join the Dear Black Gay Men Insiders group on Facebook. Welcome back. We're live here in the back room right here on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. My first guest tonight is an educational leader, social justice advocate, and a powerful voice in our culture. My second guest is a member of the illustrious House of Alpha Omega and has a face card that absolutely never declines. And he's got big titties. Welcome to the back room, Dr. Zachary Kirk and Chris McKinley. Hey, y'all.
Hey, my
Hello. How's it going?
Y'all see that? Y'all see that breastplate? Okay. Y'all. It's funny because we listening to y'all like switch through the cameras, but it's okay. So, how y'all doing?
I am well. I feel good.
You feel you said you were nervous before the show.
I said I was anxious before the show.
Why anxious? What's to be anxious about?
Ready?
We have had conversations before.
I know, but just ready. More ready than nervous, you know?
Okay. What about you, Doc?
I'm ready to go. I'm fine.
Oh, you are old pro.
Yeah,
you are old pro
old
at the
pro.
things. Okay. All right, let's get into the episode. We have so much lined up to talk about tonight, but as always, I want to hear from our guests. The first question that I always love to ask is, what have you had it with in Black gay culture? Doc, I'm going to start with you. What have you had it with?
I have had it with willful ignorance. Like we are.
That's a very Doc answer to you.
3 weeks away from one of the biggest elections of our lives.
Yes.
And I have to be very transparent. It's going to be the next one will be the biggest, and the next one will be the biggest because we're going to be continuously fighting for democracy, fighting for human rights, civil rights, and women's rights, and just willful ignorance of people not willing to accept what's in their face is something I've had it with.
Well, what do you think is in their face? What do you think people are not accepting? What brought that up for you?
The entire LGBTQIA plus community is under attack, under absolute assault, and the fact that people are not wanting to see that, not willing to accept that. You know, you just talked about the value and the donations that we're going to give to NASM, the great work that you're doing with Hope and consciously with HIV work in this country. That's amazing, right? A lot of that is being funded by the Ryan White Care Act. Every time our government is on the threat of shutdown, Republicans try to take that money away. That's the number one thing on the chopping block. The only thing standing between the Republican-controlled Congress under Speaker Mike Johnson and those things going away has been the Biden administration. It's essential that we keep advocates and allies in the White House so that we can continue to thrive and to live. And the fact that there are Black gay men out there who are still uncommitted in terms of how they're going to vote, still undecided, or choosing to not vote for the only person possible to keep us where we are today, is willful ignorance to me.
There's a whole bunch of mm-hms in the audience. There's a whole bunch of co-signing going on in the room. I will say that I think if I could play devil's advocate, that every election this is the most consequential election of our lifetime. And just like I had conversations during the pandemic about, we had COVID, then we had monkeypox, and the gays had vaccine fatigue. I think we do have political fatigue right now. And so when people don't or aren't able to tap in like they could or should, a part of me understands that. Now, granted enough, I know that we need to show up to the polls and do the things, but a part of me really does understand how people can just be tired of the process.
Imagine how I feel, right? Like that's how.
But you as
imagine
activists, though,
right? So, but just as tired, just as overworked about it. But here's the thing that we got to consider: our ancestors, they were fatigued, but they were tired, they were wearied, but they kept moving forward. That's why the entire song, our Negro national anthem, we tired and weary, but we continue on that stony road because that's the path to freedom. The reality is we got complacent or we never got involved at the time when things were easier, when progress was continuously moving steady upward.
Yeah.
Now that we're going backwards, it's the time to fight even harder than before. And again, in the very beginning, I said, every election moving forward for probably the rest of my life, and I plan to be 96 years old. So let me not even, I claim that. I claim longevity of life, strength, and stamina. But I know that I am not going to see any of the things that I'm working towards become a reality in this lifetime because that's unfortunately not the way progress goes. Regression is fast, progress is slow. And we have made huge steps back.
Regression is fast. Hold on, you dropped a jewel right there. Regression is fast. progress is
It's
slow.
Regression is fast and progress is slow. And we've taken monumental steps back in regards to human rights and civil rights. And we're going to have to deal with the consequences of what we chose to allow to happen in 2016 for decades to come.
So I have a whole bunch of colleagues who are voting for the first time, but I also have a whole bunch of colleagues who choose not to vote. And so to those who are, politically agnostic or not participating in the process, what do you say?
I pray God's grace and mercy over their lives and that they don't have to live with the consequences of that really bad decision. That is what I pray for them, because I understand that because you don't know what you have until you lose it. Many of these young people that you're talking about, they never didn't have it. I think earlier in the conversation.
Now some of these is old people too. Let me just be clear about that.
That's a different
I got some old folks in my friends list that are not voting. And now I will tell you, just from person to person, it's harder for me to. I don't know if it's appropriate, but it's harder for me to like be close to somebody who does not participate, at least with casting a vote. Because casting a vote, where I don't know about y'all, but where I vote, it takes 15 minutes to walk into that building. Now I vote early and I go to the same spot every single time. It's like 15 minutes of your life. You couldn't give 15 minutes. And so it's hard for me to take that person seriously on an emotional, on an intellectual, on a personal level. Now I don't know if that's appropriate for me, but
people don't know it. They have, but like earlier we talked. You were talking about like Nason was brought up. When I was younger, I would go to Nason before I had a primary care physician that I trusted. I would go to Nason. That's where I received all of my HIV tests. I went twice a year, like clockwork, and got those free HIV tests. So me saying I want to contribute to that work and give a donation, it's the least I can do. But I have had friends, close friends, the man I moved to Atlanta with from college, my best friend, to
I thought you was gonna say your man.
Of HIV/AIDS, right? And so, there was no prep for him. There was no preventative measures for him. There was nothing like that then. And so having lived through that and then realizing that an entire generation of young people don't even know what that feels like. They have no idea to know what
I don't know
life
what that feels
is
like.
They have no idea to imagine that kind of loss.
And I ain't that young.
And I'm not that old, but because this is in the 2000s,
I see what you did there.
But no, my best friend from college, passed away in 2012. So the reality, like, we're not far from that time frame, and we're definitely not far from that becoming a reality again. And I just pray again, God's grace and mercy, so they don't have to ever experience that and know that it's a result of what they chose not to do by not voting.
Okay. I appreciate. I normally have an applause, but I'll put some air horns right there. Thank you for that, Doc. Okay, Chris.
Yes.
Follow that up. What? I'm just kidding.
Know.
I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
What have you had it with in gay culture?
I have had it with this trend of everyone wanting to find a partner, but not do the things to attract a partner.
Oh, okay. Unpack that for me. What do you mean?
I'm just seeing a lot of people, if you're on social media, you see a lot of statuses, I'm tired of being single, or I wish I could cuddle tonight, or I'm lonely, I miss having somebody. There's this desire for romance or for a partner or that type of relationship. But culturally, there's not a lot of work in self, right, that would attract that type of relationship. So I think as a culture, as a community, as a society, we are looser than we have probably ever been in.
Loose is the word that you want to use right there? Loose?
We are looser. Looser.
Okay.
Than we have ever been. And a lot of our behaviors and patterns and routines are not that which traditionally would attract a partner or would make someone attractive in that way. And I know a lot of our movements and a lot of ways that we behave right now in today's world are not traditional. And we have, loosened up a lot of those tight standards. But the behaviors just don't match the desires. So I'm just kind of sick of hearing that. Like, you want a man, act like somebody that wants a man.
If you want to, okay, so what do you think that is? Acting like someone who wants a man. What does that look like? Give me some nuggets.
It depends on the type of man you're trying to attract.
Okay, are you someone who wants a man?
I am someone who has a man.
Is that a hot take? I did not know that. That was not in the pre-interview. Okay. And so, so to get your man, what were some of the qualities that were important for you to have so that you could be the person to attract a man?
I didn't have to concern myself with attracting a man because I concern myself with the characteristics that are, our core, are my core values, right? So I feel like I carry myself in a decent way. I carry myself in a kind way. I carry myself in a mature way. I carry myself in a way that's personable when it's time to be personable and professional when it's time to be professional. So I had no problem attracting men that were both professional and personable. I have no problem attracting men that are decent. I have no problem attracting men that are kind because those are characteristics that I reflect.
Are we still decent though? Would you say our culture is decent?
I think that our culture isn't. I don't think that decent is trending, but there are decent people.
Okay. But I mean, there are smart people, but intelligence isn't trending.
Intelligent isn't trending, but intelligence is a characteristic that can get them where they want to go.
And so what you're saying you've had it with is is people who are not.
People who are looking to attract a relationship or a specific type of relationship, but they are not the person that would attract that.
Okay.
You aren't presenting what you want to attract. And I think that it's a lot of
maybe
mismatching.
They are presenting what they want to attract. They just don't know it.
No, if that was the case, people wouldn't be complaining about being single all the time.
Okay. One thing I will say is I'm with you when you're right. Because I do think that there's a lot of complaining in our culture around dating and attracting and being with or finding a man.
Yeah.
But I also think that we are a culture of stubborn people who do not want to evolve. We don't want to change. We don't want to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And in my dating experience, I am not dating anybody, but in my dating experience, dating is probably the one thing that forces you to grow the most if you want to do it well.
Yeah. And I don't say any of that from a place of I'm here, right? Or like I've done all these things, so I'm deserving of a man. But I say that from a place of, look, project what you want to attract.
Okay. Now what I've had it with is a lot more petty than either of those answers. So go with me here. I have had it with a whole bunch of niggas who have the nerve and audacity. Roll the clip, Aaron, please.
Oh, that's all they got is the nerve. And that is why your success get on their nerves. Your happiness get on their nerves. Your joy get on their nerves. Honey, your family and your home get on their nerves. Your job, your career, it gets on their nerves because that's all they got.
When I tell you the one thing that the one person aside from Beyonce that I will never come for on the internet is Tabitha Brown. Because Tabitha Brown is going to gather you together and say, God bless you at the end of it. She is going to pray for you in process. She is going to talk about you and make you feel so small with love. Have you run into the people with the nerve, Doc?
Yeah, you run into them every day. You run into them every day.
What does that look like in your line of work?
You know what? It looks like...
Because you are a content creator, you are an activist, you are many, and an educator, you are many things. What does the nerve look like for you?
You know, the nerve looks like unwarranted shade. Unwarranted shade, like, bitch, I didn't do shit to deserve that.
Okay. What about you? What about you, Chris? The things that happen in the back room. Okay, what about you, Chris? What does the nerve look like in your life? Because you know niggas be having a nerve.
Yeah, it's like unwarranted, undeserved requests. You know, like you're seeking something that you are not equipped to receive at that time. And it's almost like, how dare you?
The nerve, the audacity.
The audacity.
The unmitigated gall. That's what the old saints would have
gall.
said. Okay, so I know y'all are tired of hearing about Diddy's sexual assault allegations, but now the speculation is about his sexuality. Watch this.
Everyone wonders what happened at the Diddy parties, but no one wonders who cleans them up. This guy. What custodian you know uses a black light?
Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I wasn't gonna do nothing gay. I was just gonna pretend to do stuff gay. Just need the reference. Tried anything, I would have just been like...
I remember when he gave Farnsworth Bentley the umbrella job. I'm like, yo, what I gotta do?
So Diddy has been in the news because he hasn't been convicted, alleged. All these alleged acts that he's participated in, he's in jail now. What are your thoughts about the Diddy issues? Doc, I'll start with you.
You know, it's disappointing. The whole thing is disappointing. And I try to be fair. I try really hard to be fair in how I judge and evaluate Diddy and everyone involved in this. And try to look at it from multiple lenses. Because today we see the world very different than how we saw the world in 1994. So in 2024, very different than 1994. In 1994, people were getting away with things they probably shouldn't have gotten away with, but society enabled them. Today, people are being held accountable, and I'm trying to find the balance between it, but I can't say anything other than disappointed. And
like, what are you disappointed at, though?
I'm disappointed that the industry not only enabled him, but propped him up and lifted him up. Because at first, I was honestly, what I first thought happened was a consensual situation between a Scorpio and a Virgo. Cassie and Diddy.
I don't know that I like any aspect of this Virgo reference.
Because there are people in this world who are very involved in the BDSM community, and it's something that they really relish. They really, that's what. So I thought genuinely at first that's what that was, and Cassie was trying to take advantage of the situation. But now, as time has evolved, I was wrong as hell. And even seeing the news information about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil that contain drugging agents to cause people to pass out, like this goes far beyond sexual assault this is going into a totally different type of criminal behavior, like literal sociopathic behavior.
But what do you think, Chris, about it just feels like there's a whole lot of very, very powerful people who are being either called out or called in, because it wasn't too long ago that we dealt with Bill Cosby. Donald Trump said grab him by the pussy, Diddy, and Jeffrey Epstein. So many prominent people that are being, I don't want to say outed like it's a sexuality thing, but you know what I mean? Like all of this is happening.
Yeah, I focus less on that and more on the fact that if you didn't do it, it couldn't get out. Okay. I get it. Like as a black man, I hate to see these successful and these powerful black men go down generally, right? Just because I am a black man and I grew up, I'm an 80s baby. I grew up watching them and aspiring to be like them in some ways and being fans of them. So it's very, as you said, disappointing, but it doesn't overshadow the accusations of abuse and the non-consensual acts. It is what it is. You did it, and allegedly, and you just have to deal with it. And unfortunately, it's our community and our billionaires and our moguls right now that are being impacted.
And being held accountable. I just wanted to add a small piece. In that, what I do also want to see, though, is I want to see equal accountability. Because you talked about, Donald Trump and his accusations, and where a level of accountability maybe hasn't been had yet, maybe it will be. But when you look at,
because Donald Trump is convicted of a whole bunch of crimes, and he said grab him by the pussy.
And right, and so I want to see equal accountability. I do believe, unfortunately, that Diddy's situation is going to be one of the most heinous that we've seen in the course of American history. I really do. The more I'm reading and seeing, the more horrified I am that this could ever happen to anyone in this world. Mm-hmm. But when you think about Jonathan Majors and what he went through with his domestic violence situation, but then you think about what's the man who plays Iron Man? Is that Robert Downey Jr.? Mm-hmm. And the fact that he has so many, that man did significantly worse things in the course of his life, but he never suffered the career consequences. He actually got career promotions. So we pulled Jonathan Majors out of the Avengers, but we promote Robert Downey Jr. and bring his character back to a whole nother level. Like, that is a real issue for me. So I definitely want to see
I ain't even thought of it that way.
Punishment for crimes of likeness, regardless of it being the black man where you have take down Bill Cosby. We got to get Diddy because they are guilty. They did wrong. They should be penalized, but so too should these wealthy white men.
But it goes back to what we were taught as kids, and we all received this. We have to be better. Yeah. We have to be smarter. We don't have an equal or a level playing field. Yeah. We don't have the luxury of making the mistakes or doing the crime that white people do. It is just our reality in this country. And a lot of times these successful men allow their money and their wealth and their influence
That's what I was gonna say.
to be a facade, when they kind of forget that they're still black and you will still have black consequences. So unfortunately, we don't have the luxury to make those kind of mistakes. And I don't know if that will change within our lifetime. You're going to live to be 96, so maybe you'll
see some change. Maybe you'll see some change when you turn 96. I'm speaking 97 into your life, but okay.
I'll take it.
All right, we got another clip. Watch this.
Ari Lennox is slowly stepping away from social media, and she explains to us why. She talks about the negative side effects of being on social media too long.
Can you hear it?
Filling your brain up with toxicness and gossip and yearning for validation, and she doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. And as soon as she said that, people started talking crazy about her and projecting onto her, which would make her not want to be on social media even more.
So before we get into this, I really wish everybody could hear and see what happens here in the back room. Like there's a whole discourse going over there. There's a whole conversation going on over here. And I'm really excited about having all of y'all in the room. It warms my heart. It makes me feel special that all of y'all are here to just see me talk for a minute. Oh. Okay, so Ari Lennox is getting off of social media. What do y'all think would happen to gay culture if social media did not exist, Chris?
I think that our community would thrive in more meaningful ways. Kudos to Ari. I love that for her. I wish I had the courage to do the same thing. I do not. I wish I had the means to do the same thing. I do not. I think we would thrive in ways that would be beneficial for us in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years.
Okay, because I don't think we would thrive at all. I think our culture would dissolve.
No, I disagree, because our culture existed prior to social media. So we're not dependent on social media to have a sense of culture. Social media highlights our culture, but not always in the best way. It puts a lot of pressure on a lot of people. A lot of people go down because of feeling they have to look a certain way. They have to dress a certain way. They have to take a certain amount of trips every year. They have to be the cool gay or the sexy gay or the gym gay or the...
But you are the cool gay, the sexy gay, and the gym gay, friend. You are all of those things.
No, but thank you. But I don't know too many cool or sexy guys that people perceive to be that who actually operate from their perspective, right? They're just existing. Everyone is just existing. So someone else may say that's the cool guy, sexy guy, gym guy. To them, they're just John.
Or just Chris.
Or just
Zach.
Or just Zach. You're just yourself. But I love that for her. I'm proud of her.
I am very proud of her. I think that if that is the best decision for her life, then that is what's important. But also, I think as it pertains to gay culture, that I don't know what would happen to gay culture if Instagram did not exist. I know what would have happened 20 years ago when I came out. Like, social media wasn't a thing. And so, you went to the club, you had to speak to people, you had to look folk in the eyes, send a drink across the bar. We stayed out. We actually danced in clubs. We did the things, and we came out of the club sweaty. I remember I used to wear sunglasses in the club, couldn't see shit.
And young people deserve that. They need that. Like, the clubs have closed because they're not being frequented and patroned. You don't have the bookstores that we used to have, the different communal spaces that existed. Those things are all gone because people find that same level of connection on social media. And as someone who has
they find what they think is the same level of connection, because none of that shit, all of that pales in comparison to the actual connections that I met people at the Brick in Dallas that I am still friends with to this day. I don't know any of the girls that are born in the 90s that could say the same thing.
No, seriously, I have friends all over this country, and it is not because I'm social media famous, because I am not, right? I have like a modest following on social media. This is because I am one of the older gays, right? And I was a part of those parties and those clubs. I went to those bookstores and those events. I think it was a stronger sense of community.
Now, what were y'all doing at these bookstores? Because the bookstores that I went to, we wouldn't read nothing.
No, Atlanta.
You went to the bookstore to have a moment.
Atlanta used to have the largest gay bookstore in the Southeast United States called Outright. Some trash ass restaurant exists there now. I mean, I don't know the name of the restaurant because I'm mad they took away Outright. But there were book signings there. That's where I met Elian Harris. That's where I met James Earl Hardy. That's where I met
Elian Harris is
Eric.
from the same city I was born in.
See, in Arkansas.
Is that where
No,
Tip
he was
is
born
now?
in Flint, Michigan.
But he just lived sometime.
He grew up in Arkansas, but he was born in Flint.
I see one of the first loves of my life is from Flint, Michigan. We'll talk about it after the show. So,
or we could talk about it during the show.
So that level of like connection is missing, and young people again they deserve it. Like one thing I've noticed from being an older content creator in a world of young influencers, young people don't have the social stamina beyond the camera to even really engage anymore. Like their social battery goes down real quick.
Socially awkward.
They don't want to be around people, and what they present on camera is nothing like they are in real life because they're very socially awkward. And I think it's because they haven't had a lot of social experiences beyond school. Whereas the club and the bookstores and getting out there allows you to build up those social muscles that lead to you being a well-rounded person. And when you talk about having all these friends, I don't think it's necessarily because of age. I think it's because you know how to make relationships and how to build and foster those relationships.
No, I will also say, like, one of the things that I learned, and I will move on, Aaron, I saw your note, but one of the things that I learned in interacting with people in Black gay culture is how to read. Like, the girls don't know how to read, and I think that's why they fight so much now, because they get their feelings hurt, and all of a sudden they want to throw some bows. Well, back in the day, you would get read for filth, you would get chops across the board, and you would pick yourself up and dust yourself off and come back next week. But nowadays, the girls are so namby-pamby, they so sensitive about every fucking thing that, let's see, now I'm getting on. So, again, this is the weirdest transition. I tell y'all every week to make sure you register to vote after we talk about how the girls is sensitive. But up and down the ballot, our futures are on the line, as Dr. Kirk said, and it is imperative that we show up for ourselves. The deadlines are coming in hot across the United States, and early voting is already hitting the records in Georgia. This is the time for you to make your plan to vote, understand what and who is on the ballot, and encourage your friends to vote. If you need information about your local election procedures, visit vote.gov. Coming up next, we're talking all things polyamory, but first, let me know in the comments, y'all voting in this election? I better see a whole bunch of yeses. During the break, be sure to give this video a thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And while you're at it, share it with your friends so they can tap into the combo as well. This is Open to Open Explained, and we will be right back. What up, dog? The conversations stay lit on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Hookup, entanglement, situation, relationship, everything from dushing to dating. A top verb, but I am not a top noun. I am a guru at first dates. It's new every Wednesday. Subscribe now. Every conference I go to, I get noticed because of the bag.
No, for real. So like they was asking me, I got noticed. Somebody pulled me aside. They were like, "Oh my God, I really love your bag," and they came up to start talking to me about how they can get connected with Dear Black Gay Men.
I mean, it's a great marketing tool. It's a great marketing tool, and it goes with most of our merch.
And then, child, I was at an undisclosed facility because they ain't a sponsor.
I thought it was because you was at a sex party.
No.
Okay. That's why this episode
not a back room.
That's why this episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast is brought to you in part by MIH bags. Everywhere I go, I get noticed from my DBGM hoodie and my MIH. All I want is everything bag. Hold it up, Verity. That is actually my bag. I love it. It's the perfect bag to throw everything in when I'm rushing to the studio, or an overnight bag when I'm doing whatever I would be doing overnight.
You almost made me cry when you gifted me my All I Want Is Everything.
The All I Want Is Everything duffel.
Duffel bag for my birthday, and I get stopped every time I wear it. It's the perfect everyday bag or work bag or even a bag for the airport when I'm going on a nice trip.
That's not what the script says.
I don't care. You know I ain't been to the gym.
You can shop MIH Bags' full collection of accessories and apparel at mihbags.com. They're a Black queer-owned business that carries t-shirts and duffels and toiletry bags and so much more for all your accessory needs. Use code DBGM15 to take 15% off at checkout. That's mihbags.com. The link is in the description.
Get in the conversation.
This comment says, I did a good job. It's time for a congratulatory ejaculation session.
Chat live on the show and get exclusive content.
The bottoms are going to eat me up for this in the chat.
Join the Dear Black Gay Men Insiders group on Facebook.
We're live from the back room right here on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. Before the break, I asked whether y'all are voting in this upcoming election. I better see nothing but yeses in the comments. Aaron, run through the comments and see what they said.
We got some yeses.
He said we got some yeses. Kevy Kev says yes. I knew Kevy Kev was going to be voting because Kevy Kev is about that life.
Everybody else is an assumed yes.
Everybody else is an assumed yes at what he said. I had the opportunity to talk to Devin Barrington Ward. You saw him in the pre-show about his life and relationship dynamics being poly. He expressed that poly ain't for the weak, and you're going to communicate way more than you're going to have sex. As we kick off the discussion tonight, my first question to my guest is, what do you think poly is? How do you define it, Chris?
Simply a relationship with multiple people. So, a committed relationship with multiple people is how I would define it.
Okay. What about you, Doc?
I agree 100%. It's a committed relationship where people have decided to be engaged in more than one life partner.
Do you think it's because, okay, let me parse through my thoughts here. So, Chris, you disclosed that you are in a relationship now, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And so at what point in the dating process, as you develop feelings for someone, would you feel that they should disclose that, oh, I'm poly or things like that?
Oh, from the very beginning.
Really?
Jump start. Yes, absolutely. Consent.
Okay. The reason I asked you that is, what if you really liked him?
I shouldn't get to the point of really liking you without making a decision based upon that information.
Okay, what about you, Doc?
I agree 100%. Like,
is this like first date conversation?
Yeah, Chris is so impressive because he says so many things that, like, I didn't think about that or see it that way, but he has given me a lot. There's so many light bulb moments in this episode. I can't wait to go back and rewatch it and take my little notes to my notepad.
We'll have chapters in it on YouTube. It'll be great. We'll send you the link.
We'll have to have my own reflection there. So I 100% agree. It's about consent. Like, let me know what I'm dealing with when I first meet you so I can decide if I want to deal with that.
But I think of it as like in gay culture, there are many things we have to consent to when we are engaging with someone. We have to disclose HIV status at some point if someone is living with HIV or not. We have to talk about identity. Some people identify as he, him, or they, them, or all those things. But I don't think you should just do a data dump on the first date. Or is that what you're saying?
If you're literally someone who is in a relationship, you need to let me know that on the first date.
Absolutely.
That this is not just me, but this is me and her or me and him.
But what if it's not? What if it is just him for right now and he is just trying to get to know you?
I don't see polyamory as a sexual orientation. I see polyamory as a lifestyle choice in that moment that could come in your life if you are bi, queer, gay, whatever you are, or could not. That's how I see it. I don't see it as like, I'm polyamorous, so I have to have multiple partners at all times to be happy and fulfilled. I don't see it that way.
But aren't we putting a lot of pressure on a first date? If y'all are saying this is something that needs to be disclosed up front, aren't we there? I could think of 10 other things that are probably more pressing to a dating situation.
What are you dating
disclose.
for? That's also a part of, like, I think the dynamic here in terms of getting to why maybe, we have kind of a different view of it. If you're dating they're going to have a good time, we're going to have a good conversation. We may be good friends. We may not be good friends. We may fuck. We may not fuck. That's fine. Don't disclose it. But when I'm going to date, I'm dating with an intention of a life partner. So I need to know up front what shit is in your life that I need to know about to consider you to be a partner or not.
And see, when I'm in that date, when I'm dating, right?
Okay.
I'm a little different because I enjoy dating. I don't always date to find a life partner, right? Like I like to be courted. I like to go out. I like to take people out. I like to be taken out. Like I enjoy the courting process. So it isn't necessarily a rush to the finish line for me, but I do want to know what I'm getting into. you know, so that I know where to place you. Because I don't want to invest feelings and, you know, any level of serious interest in you if I know that I'm not going the direction that you're going.
Okay, I absolutely hear, and I do agree with that on to a level, but I just think it's the better question before I step into a readable position. So, how do you defining upfront? You want to know certain things upfront. What is upfront? Is that first date? Is that first week? Is that first month?
Yeah. I think that if you are actively in a relationship with someone, right, and y'all are poly and you're going on a date with someone else, then you certainly need to let them know that you're in a relationship.
Okay.
Now, if you aren't actively in a relationship, then maybe it's not first date conversation, but it definitely needs to be a conversation that is had sooner than later, more so for you. You know, because you're also investing energy in someone that may not want anything to do with you. So why set yourself up for that disappointment as well? Like, it's not just to inform the other person, but why are you not setting up your expectations better as well?
Okay, so what about you, Doc? Like, how do you define upfront?
I agree 110%. If you're in a relationship, that needs to be disclosed in the very beginning. And, you know, otherwise it should come up
In the very beginning, like in the chat, or like, hey, I'm Jay, I got a man.
No, right, in the chat.
Yes.
In the chat. Like, we're talking and, you know, you hit me up or I hit you up. Well, I just want you to know that I have a partner, but we are looking for a third or a fourth or a fifth if those are the dynamics of your relationship.
Or a 17th.
Or
who knows what the girls are giving nowadays.
Or a 17th, Warren Jeffs.
Or P. Diddy.
Right.
God.
Okay. And so upfront, it sounds like there's a couple different definitions. Upfront about relationship and commitment, that's something you want. That's like first date conversation. But if I am a single person and I'm just open to open, that's not first date. That doesn't necessarily have to be first date conversation for y'all. Is that what you're saying?
No, that doesn't have to be first date conversation for me. But it's going to be because I'm going to ask.
Why though?
Because I want to know.
But why?
Why?
I'm not saying why in general. I'm saying why first date.
Because I'm looking for a level of compatibility. And there's a lot of things I'm going to ask. I ask a lot of questions.
But how do you keep a first date from coming off as an interrogation then?
Is it not?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay.
It's about how you ask.
I mean, I'm the single man here, but so I might be doing it wrong, but I don't think a first date should be an interrogation. I think a first date should be a understanding, seeing you, getting in your energy and your sphere to see if even a second date where we can start to interrogate some of these
big topics.
There's a lot of stuff
you're going to talk about on a great first date, right? A great first date is full of good communication, good conversation. So why not find out some of the important things that you really want to know?
Or why not wait until the second date?
Because you may not want a second date.
But if you don't want a second date for several other reasons, then what does it matter? I disclose that I'm open to open or poly and whatnot. If my breath smell, then what does it matter? What kind of relationship structure?
But if your breath doesn't smell, and I think that you're super attractive, and I love what you do for a living, and I love how you carry yourself and how you treat your mama, and all these things are working well for you. But then there's that one thing. Don't drag me into you and then hit me with that punch, and I have to make a decision, that may not be favorable.
But isn't that the same with anything though? That's what I'm saying. It's like if like you said earlier, if I am the type of person that can attract someone to me that is appropriate for who and how I like to date, right? I got the job, I got the car, I got the crib, I got a good head on my shoulders, I got a great future ahead of me, and I'm moderately okay looking and all the things, right? Then there's still a number of things that could be that gut punch that says, "Oh, you're not the guy for me." Why is relationship status?
It's different because there are no variables with that would change the situation. Let's just say someone goes into a first date and they say, "Hey, I am, HIV positive." That person could say, "Well, I can take PrEP," or viral load. There's just all kind of questions that could change the potential consequence, right? However, you having another partner, nothing changes about that. There's no variables to that. You have another person. There's nothing that I can do to protect myself from you having another person.
But okay, I mean, I think one thing I'm aligned with you is if I got another person, if I, Jay, have a man and I'm looking for another man and I'm on a date with you, I absolutely believe that just as if I got a man on any level, if I'm not open and I'm just cheating on my man, I still think that's something you should disclose first date. That is something that should come up in the very first conversation. I got a man or somebody, it's not working or it is working and I'm still here with you and I like you. So you can make a decision. But if I'm just a single person, then why does my style of relationship matter first date? That's the only sticking point I got is why does that matter first date as opposed to a second date?
But why do you not value your time enough to go ahead and put that out there and allow the person to make a decision on you or not? Like, why are you not taking that extra step to protect your feelings? You know, because you may also be really into this person. You may get more into this person with each day and each month. Why are you not protecting yourself more?
But it's not the only reason I'm sticking here is because it's not a matter of protection for me, because I believe that the dating process is to uncover a whole bunch of things that could make or break an attraction between the two of us. And I don't think a first date and dating process should be synonymous. I will uncover a whole bunch of things about the people that I am interested in through a dating process. You might keep a nasty ass house. That's not something that you want to say on the first date because it's just not relevant.
Houses can be clean. That boyfriend is not going anywhere.
Again, I'm not talking about if you got a man. I'm saying if I'm single, if I'm single and I'm into you, Doc, why would I need to disclose that first date versus second date? Help me understand that one piece. I mean, now, granted enough, if you ask...
There's no helping you understand it. This is just clearly Virgo. Like, it's just... When you brought up the damn clean... When this man sat here and brought up the clean house...
I don't like any of that.
I'm like, it's a wrap. It's no changing. So, like, you know, it's just a difference in preference. But to be fair, if I went out with someone and they didn't disclose on the first date, they disclosed on the second date or the third date, it would still be the same outcome. So to be fair, it could be the second or it could be the third. The result will still end up being the same.
Okay, because now one thing that you said that I absolutely agree with is if you ask me a question, you deserve an answer. I fully acknowledge that. I'm just saying, is this something that you are expecting me to divulge unsolicitedly on the first date?
Is it an expectation? You know, to be honest, no. Everything I want to know, I'm going to always ask.
Okay, and I absolutely believe that if we are dating on any level, first date or whatever, and you ask me a question, you deserve an answer, because that would to me would be a waste of time. If I came in with so much of a guard up that I couldn't be honest with you, that's a red flag for 11 other things.
And also, now just because this man that you're on a date with may have bad breath, that too can be fixed with a dentist. And so the question would be, do you have a dentist and can I take you to one? And we can work that out together.
Okay, Trey's room
may not be able to afford dental care.
There's a comment that says, Trey's room says, you still have to leave room for the other person to decipher if they want to participate. Okay, I don't know if that's in favor of what y'all are saying or what I'm saying.
It is.
But
right, there's a whole other person out there that has to then decide if, like, it seems to be to me a very complicated situation.
Okay, have you ever been propositioned to be in a poly or open relationship?
I have been propositioned to have sex with one partner in an open relationship, and I've been propositioned to be in threesomes with couples, but to be a part of the actual relationship, no.
What about you?
I have a couple times. And I'm thinking, like, what the hell? I'm just poly attracted around this moment.
I mean, you started the show with talking about what you were attracting and how you're setting yourself up and what you're attracting to yourself.
True. I guess they just think it's enough of me. I don't know.
I mean, now, full disclosure for everybody. When I met Chris, he was not this person. He was smaller.
Yeah.
And so there is a lot more of you to go around now.
That's funny. But yeah, I've been propositioned, yeah.
What was that like?
It was
like, what did you feel?
Intimidating. Well, it was intimidating but also like flattering, but at the same time offensive. It was just, it was
How is
the
it
full
flattering and
gauntlet.
offensive? Like,
Because
what is the flattering part of that?
Because I always take attention and attraction as flattering, right? Nobody has to be attracted to me. No one has to think that I'm handsome or I'm nice or any of those things. So if anyone that shows attention to me or is complimentary of me, I am flattered. I am appreciative of it, right? The offensive part was like, why would you think why would I want to share you? You know, like, why do you think I would want to share? Why do you think I would have to share? And that's kind of where my mind went. And that's not where my mind stays, but that's where
sharing?
It's absolutely sharing. How is it not sharing?
So you were propositioned by a couple to be in participate with the two of them on a emotional, physical
in a
level,
relationship.
in a relationship.
Come move in with us.
Okay. See, now I have a whole different opinion about that, but they told me to move on. Okay, so coming up, we're talking about what poly relationships would look like. But first, I want to hear from y'all in the comments. Have you thought about being in a poly or open relationship? Let me know in the comments. During the break, don't forget to follow me on IG at JAI the Gentleman and join the DBGN Fam broadcast channel. This is Open to Open.
What up, though? The conversations stay lit on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Hook up, entanglement, situation, relationship, everything from dushing to dating.
A top verb, but I am not a top noun. I am a guru at first dates.
It's new every Wednesday. Subscribe now.
Okay, Aaron, do you think HIV is still a big deal?
I do. When I look at the numbers and things like that, I have to like burst myself out of my own bubble because for me, it's not a big deal. I go to the doctor, I get my 2 shots or my shots every 2 months, and like HIV is a non-factor for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realize all of the privileges in my life that allow me to do that.
What about you, Verity? Is HIV a big deal? Because you are an ally.
I am an ally. And so I feel like on a day-to-day, it's honestly not something that's top of mind. But being a part of the podcast, and I didn't realize just how prevalent it still was.
That's why this episode is brought to you in part by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. HIV has been a huge part of my life as a gay man, and the HIV Vaccine Trials Network is working to minimize that, because ending HIV is about all of us.
For me, as an ally, I wasn't truly aware of the impact HIV has on our lived experiences until we started working with the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. Now that I know about this network, I feel like there's a real way for me to get involved in the fight against HIV. I've been able to get educational resources on HIV, stay up to date on HIV research, and enroll in studies to help end HIV.
If you would like more information or get involved in an HIV vaccine trial, whether you're living with HIV or not, visit helpendhiv.org. That's helpendhiv.org. The link is in the description.
Hit the notification bell because we're going live.
Like that's the least of my worries. The size.
Oh, I think relationships are becoming more complex.
Tuesday and Thursday every week.
Welcome to Dear Black Gay Men Live
at 9 p.m. Eastern.
About this show. All right, we're live back. We're live from the back room right here on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Before the break, I asked what y'all thought of being in a poly or open relationship. Aaron is saying move on. Tonight, we're talking Kevin Kev says, question for Chris. How long did it take the couple for them to ask you to move in if they asked you? Hope it wasn't less than 6 months to a year.
Oh, God. It was in the initial conversation. They knew what they... See, that's the thing. When you come into a relationship where it's already an established couple, they typically know what they want. And I was likely the dispensable member. So it's almost like pluck him in, real fast. If it doesn't work, you just pluck his ass out and find another one. So, yeah, it was immediate. It was like
I have
yeah.
so many opinions about that, but I think
Yeah.
I'm supposed to get back to the script. Tonight we're talking all things polyamory.
I hope they're not watching.
My guests have shared their idea of what they think poly relationship is and when it should come up in the dating process. We're going deeper and figuring out what it would look like if for each of us. The first question is, so we've talked about poly as a concept. Are you open to open?
No. I respect it. I respect
Why did it come so hard?
Because it's just I'm just sure.
Okay, what is it that you're saying no to? You want traditional monogamy, me and you, that's it.
There's just not a lot of longevity there for me. Like there's no marriage, because it's illegal. Who if you die, who's going to take your stuff? I mean, it's just like, where do I fit in your long-term plan? And if I'm going to invest that much time and energy in a person, I'm going to say, you're my man and I'm living with you and etc. I have to have a place in your long-term plan. You can't put me on you can't put two people as your beneficiary with your job. You can only put one name on that
everything
list.
you've mentioned
No,
is
you can put multiple people, but you can only put one spouse.
But everything you've mentioned is but everything you've talked about is about the business of a relationship.
Yeah.
What if your heart wants the multiple people to love at one time? Is possible.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that you can love multiple people at one time.
You're saying that it's not possible for you. Can you love more than one person
Absolutely.
at once?
I've been in that situation many times, but I sound a little judgy. I don't want to sound like that, but it's selfish. It would be selfish of me to try to put two people in a relationship and expect both of them to give their all to me when I am dividing my all between them.
But what if the parts of you that one person requires and the parts of you that another person requires are complementary?
That is, to me, there's a underlying issue of insecurity there, and not insecurity in the sense that people think that, I love myself, I'm not insecure, but there's a lack of
people
security.
Who say that are absolutely insecure.
Right. There's a lack of security in a partner, right? And there's a thought that one person cannot satisfy you, and because of that, you lack security in the relationship. And I don't need to bring in another person to balance out that security. I need to work on that inwardly,
I agree that that you have to come with self-awareness and security for yourself. What I'm saying is, but what if your heart absolutely desires more than one person and the only thing stopping it is your head?
But that's not life. I'll give a random example, but
that's not your head.
Right. I did makeup years ago, right? And I stopped doing makeup at like the top of my career. I was working in Tyler Perry Studio. I did all these movies and all these production companies. And I also was in healthcare, right? And my healthcare career was blossoming and makeup career was blossoming. And I could not serve two masters. Like it got to a point where I had to decide whether I was going to blossom here or there. And the same thing in the relationships. Like you're not going to feed every part of yourself. At some point you have to make a decision as to what you're going to have and what you're going to focus on.
Okay, what about you, Doc? Are you open to open?
Not really. I wouldn't say that I'm open to open, but at the other end of it, I'm trying to be fair and trying to be really reflective. And, if I had a partner who I loved a great deal and that's something that they really wanted and needed, I would definitely have to pray on it.
But my question is for both of y'all, but it is for you. Are you just saying that your heart, once it's committed to one person, you will not allow yourself to even entertain the idea that you could also love someone else simultaneously? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. For me, I mean, just keep it very simple for you and for the audience. Yeah.
Why?
That's just the way my heart works. Right? Like to me, in a relationship, I'm focused on that one person, and there's not a whole lot of other focus to go around. There's a lot of shit that you're dealing with in life every single day. We're dealing with family, we're dealing with work, we're dealing with everything that we're dealing with, and you're also dealing with a life partner or a person that you're committed to. I don't know how people can commit to two, or if they really are committing to two, or if they're giving what they should be giving to that person. Because it is, and people don't want to see it this way, people don't want to acknowledge it, but a marriage, a partnership, a lifelong commitment is a lot of work. And I can't see anyone doing that for two people. I know I couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Someone gets the shit stick. Someone gets the
But
short end of
is
the
it?
stick.
But okay, and the only reason that I'm glad that you said that is because at the top of the show you said you attract to yourself what you give.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what if you are attracting shit stick arrangements to you because that's what's in your head already? What if there is enough of you to go around? What if? What if there is enough of you to meet the needs of the people that are actually for you? And there just happens to be two of them, and coincidentally.
And that's why I said I respect it, right? So I'm not coming from a place of disrespect, right? I do personally think that you can love multiple people. I have loved multiple people, but loving multiple people and making a decision to be in a relationship with multiple people are not the same thing. Like, I don't think that you can feed all of your desires. I just think there's just a level of control, at some point.
That isn't you, is it? The comment says some of them could hardly keep a job, much less two partners, with the looking eyes emoji. Now, I'm with you when you're right. I'm with you when you're right. There was another comment earlier. What was that comment, Aaron? It says, what does it mean by open relationships are illegal? Polygamy is illegal. Marrying multiple people is illegal. That's just the law of the land. Mr. D said he meant that you can't marry both people. That's illegal, not open relationships.
Yeah.
What does MEMS mean?
Make it make sense. He was responding to the person.
I really wish I would have known that. I'm the content creator. I'm one of the content creators, but I should have known that. Okay. What better way? This is an interesting transition. What better way to explore this than through one of my favorite games here on the show, Sassy or Trashy? Hit it. We haven't played a game here on the show for a long time, and I'm really excited to play this one. The way it's going to work is we have a list of relationship attributes that I want y'all to tell me whether it is sassy or trashy. Sassy, meaning it's something that you would want in an open, poly, or whatever your version of relationship is. Trashy means something that you could absolutely throw away. And because we are all together, we got a little sassy and trashy. You see that? I love it so much. I love it. He said it was like Watch What Happens Live. Okay, as always, live audience, y'all tap in as well in the comments. They'll put them on the screen so we can know whether you think these are sassy or trashy as well. The first one, you're dating somebody and they're flirting in front of you. Sassy or trashy? Okay. I said sassy. Why do you say it's trashy?
It's a me thing. I am possessive. I am territorial. I am jealous. I am not the things people think I am. I am alpha male. I don't play that.
Okay, what about you? Why is it trashy?
I guess it could be sassy if it is something that we've discussed ahead of time.
Okay.
But if it's impromptu and we're out on a date and you shift the focus and the attention of our date and our quality time to flirting with a stranger, then that's very trashy. So that's how I consider it, right? Like, with our busy lives, the time we carve out for like quality time has to be, it's like that's sacred time.
Yes.
And we need to be completely committed to enjoying that time. No work, no phone, no distractions, each other.
Okay, what if you consider it flirting, but they don't?
If I consider it flirting,
like what if you just go with somebody who's flirty, like the bass player at a church or something, because they are always flirty.
I'm kind of flirty.
Yeah, I'm kind of flirty too. So
I see that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm not dating you, so
I feel like nobody I'm with would. It'll usually I'm the more extroverted person and the more flirty person.
The irony is Trey right here is very, very flirty. She won't admit it, but she's very flirty. She said that whisper she be doing. Kevin Kev says sassy depends on the rules of the relationship. I think that's in line with what you're saying. Okay, the next one, threesomes. You're dating somebody and you invite somebody in. Is that sassy or trashy? Okay, make that make sense now. So you're saying you would not entertain someone emotionally in a relationship, but you would entertain them physically in a relationship?
I think there's a place for that in happy relationships. If you're both into that, I think there's a place for it. I do.
So wait a minute. So
No
y'all saying,
attachment.
okay, I could fuck you, but I can't talk to you.
If there's a place for that, yes, I think so.
So how is that not an open relationship?
You didn't say an open relationship. You said a poly relationship.
Okay, there's a distinction for you?
Absolutely. So an open relationship is a relationship where you're open to have sex with whoever you want to, in my opinion. You're free to do what you want to do. Poly is just a relationship with commitment structure amongst multiple people.
Okay, so you're saying that you are open to open then, based on this response.
No, because I don't think that behavior is an open relationship. I think that is a relationship with caveats.
I agree with him 100%. Like, I think I don't see a threesome as an open relationship. I see a closed loop, two people who are in a committed relationship who allow someone to come in and out. So they flow into the loop and they flow their asses right out the loop.
Immediately.
But if something got to be open in order for there to be a flow in.
Yeah, somebody's hole. But
it's a closed circle.
But in regards to the relationship and allowing them emotional space, allowing them a level of commitment, allowing them a level of like, you are a priority, that's not there.
So you're saying your idea of open and poly are based on emotional connections, not necessarily
open
physical
is,
ones.
I'm with a partner and they're doing whatever they want to do. I have no knowledge of it because you're open to whatever. You can do whatever you want to do.
There's no commitment, non-committal.
But
That
what
is
if the
open to me.
definition of open that you develop with your partner is different than that?
And that's fine. That's why you have good communication and you and your partner establish those bounds and norms. But for me, I would not be in a relationship where I would not know the sexual behaviors of my partner.
And I've been in an open relationship before.
Open based on this conversation. Based on what we just said. Open is sexual,
Open based on your
poly is
previous
emotional.
understanding.
Well, you can
of it,
sleep with
yes.
whoever you want to sleep with.
Yes.
But what if it's not that loose? Loose. That's the
There we
word
go.
you use. What if it's not that loose? What if there are stricter boundaries on it where all we do is
had rules.
play together, threesomes, whenever we both consent to it? That is to you still monogamy.
It is to me.
Yeah.
To me, that's still
I
monogamous.
actually met you in that relationship.
Okay, we won't talk about who that was with because I don't want to put that out there.
Shade.
But,
No, we definitely won't.
But you're saying, me, Boo, you and I are together. We call Zach to have a threesome. You and I are still in a monogamous relationship.
Yes.
Okay, so I think the difference here between our perspectives is just definition. Because I would, exact same situation, I call that open. It's just our arrangement is threesomes and we play together. That is open to me.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay. See what happens? Eye-opening moments here in the back room. Okay, checking out other men, sassy or trashy. Now make that make sense. Like I don't understand any of these. How is it?
It's human nature. It's
Yeah,
gonna
you have
happen.
eyes.
So, right. Be honest. Encourage honesty in a relationship. Like, yeah, look, attraction doesn't stop because you're in a committed relationship. That attraction still happens, and I think even being able to talk about what you may find attractive, and even how what you find attractive evolves because you still grow in a relationship is healthy for your relationship.
You can look at the server and acknowledge to me or yourself that he's cute, but telling him that he's cute is different. Or flirting with him is different. Or saying, "Oh, I like your hair," or "Where'd you get your manicure?"
Just the idea that is the sound that your man makes when he flirts.
That's different.
I like your hair.
I like your hair. But you can look at him. I mean, you can look, yeah. But don't test me.
Okay, this says Kevin Kev says sassy look but don't touch. And see, that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, maybe it'll make sense by the end of this. Okay, being friends with your ex, sassy or trashy? My, how the tables have turned. I call that trashy. Why is that sassy, Doc?
I think it's appropriate just because if you love someone and you're part of their life, and to not be their friend afterwards, I think is an unfair expectation. I know that I'm not the norm with that. I'm in a minority.
You in the minority here
I know,
for the first time tonight.
In the world. But when you talk about loving other people, I love everyone I've ever loved. The love doesn't go away. It transforms into something different. And usually it transforms into a friendship, a good friendship. And so
I'm not laughing at you. There's just so much going on.
But I definitely encourage. Like, that's something I'm also very upfront with my partners. Is that, look, these are my friends. I played a pivotal role in their life at one point, and they played a pivotal role in my life. And sometimes we need each other. We have family connections, and I'm not going to rip him away from my family or vice versa. It's not fair.
Why do you say trashy? Well, hold on. Brandon says, I found gay men are emotionally monogamous and physically poly or open. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. But tell me, why do you say being friends with your ex is trashy? Because I agree.
He gotta go. He has to go. Like, no. There's a song that says, if he wants what's best for him, then he still wants you. And I live by that. So no.
I could throw this remote at you for that. That was so good. Put that on a goddamn t-shirt. The reason why I say that being friends with your ex is trashy for me is because you had an emotional connection with this man, potentially share something with you that I may never share because they are a totally different person. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you can keep me as a priority if that is looming in the background of our relationship.
But keep it from me.
I want to know who this ex is. I want to know how you interacted with them. I want you to tell me your perspective, but I don't want them to be a part of their life. So when he say friend with I think, I don't have bad blood with any of my exes, but I wouldn't call any of them friend. Some of them might call me a friend, but I'm upfront about that too. But I wouldn't go as far as to facilitate a friendship or engage in a friendship with them. And as a matter of fact, like, we go out and see my ex, I'd be like, oh, there he go right there.
And you empower exes that way. You make them feel like they have a place that they don't have.
You can cuss a little bit.
That they have a place that they don't have, and they feel like, oh, he's gonna always be my man. We'll always have something special, or we'll always. No, there's no.
No,
always,
I think that's
baby,
just what they do with you. Since you got all this body, because
there's no always like that. Wrap that up or keep it from me. I just
and see now. I will say the only part I disagree is I don't want any aspect of relationship to be kept from me. Like, I want us to be able to share every goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Because I want you to be honest with me. Mm-hmm. I want you to be honest and transparent. And because of TikTok, I realized that those are two different things.
And you think men are capable of those things?
Yes. Yes.
That's fair.
The disdain in your face.
No.
Okay. Let's keep going. Here's one. Sassy or trashy? Sharing your location.
Wait, like having it on your phone, or like telling them where you are?
Like having it on their phone.
Oh, trashy boots.
Why? I would have thought y'all would have said sassy.
It's too much of a level of like that.
It's an invasion.
Level of control. Calm down.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Have some trust. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not under investigation, boo.
Wait, you don't think there's any situation where you would share your location with your partner?
I'm hiking Mount Everest.
Yeah, my brother has it. My mama has it. So if there's ever an emergency, you know how to get me.
It's not the word.
Really?
I don't even send it to people. Send it to me. I don't even know how to work it. I'm like, I get mad about it. I don't want to see that.
And so I think it's because I am open to open.
Oh, and a couple friends have it
I think it's because I am open to open, and I am upfront and transparent about where I go and who I'm with. There are times where I might be like, oh, I'm trashed at Bulldogs. Here's my location. And, forget to turn it off. Or I've dated flight attendants who share their location with me for whatever I didn't ask for it, but they shared it with me, let me know they in Dubuque, Montana, or some random location that just happens to have a Delta hub. Like, so you're saying there's no scenario where you would share your location with your partner?
Not on a full-time basis.
Like, you wouldn't iPhone share indefinitely?
Indefinitely? No, absolutely not. Like, if I was
what is there to hide if you're monogamous?
What is there to check if you're if you trust it, I'm monogamous.
I think it's a chicken or the egg.
Yeah, I don't want either.
Why? Why? So if you and I are dating, I was like, oh, we should share our location. Your answer is
no.
Why?
It's just not. It's something I'm willing to relinquish. It's too much for me. It's too much.
What about husband? That's what the whiteboard said.
Oh yes.
The irony is,
husband.
Everybody in the room can see the whiteboard, so he's writing it like as if it's just me. Everybody can see. But what about your husband?
Yes. Husband, absolutely. Married, absolutely. You have earned that right. You went before God and the state.
But why is relationships so married so much to legality with you? Why is it we trust each other on that level? I love you that much. You're saying you have earned that right. We went before the state. But why does that even matter?
Because I associate love with sacrifice and commitment.
But you don't got to sacrifice nothing to get married.
Yes, you do.
You got to sign a piece of paper. We could legitimately, you and I could go get married
well,
right
if you
now.
don't take it serious, then you don't take it serious. But if you do, and you're doing it for the right reasons, then there is a level of sacrifice and commitment there.
Okay.
Unless you're just bullshitting.
Okay. What about you? You said you never. What about a husband? Would a husband get a location?
No one's getting a location. I don't know how to work that shit. It confuses me. And that's some shit in technology that really makes me mad. Like, I just get upset about it. I get very upset about it. I just don't even understand how it happens. I don't. It's scary.
Okay. I would say okay one more time, but I think it'd be redundant. All right. So I think this is a great spot to take a break. And up next, we're talking about how cheating works in a poly or any kind of relationship. Ultimately, if we choose a poly relationship. But first, I have a question for the comments. How do you define cheating in your relationship? Let me know in the chat. I'm skipping all of this because this is open to open. I think I lead a pretty normal life. I'm a podcaster and a content creator. I'm pursuing my passions. So many of us, Black gay people, either live with a reality or a fear of HIV. Any movement toward a future where HIV is less of a part of who we are, I don't know that I can think of anything more impactful to our culture. All right, welcome back to Thirsty Thursday here on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. Before the break, I asked, how do you define cheating in your relationships? Aaron, what do they have to say? All right. He said, nothing. Got it. You both have expressed that you're not open to open or poly. So I'm going to come at this from a different angle. In a monogamous relationship, how would you react if your partner asked for a hall pass? Doc?
You know, I, again, try to be very, very fair. I'm very honest. And I know, like, you know, love is indeed stronger than pride. And if that's something that my partner really needed, I would be willing to allow that to maintain my relationship.
This is just so interesting to me. That is not what I thought you were going to say. They don't tell me what y'all are going to say. They just tell me that they asked you and said that it's questions going to come. So you would be open to a hall pass.
It wouldn't be something I would want, right? Like, I wouldn't want a situation where my partner would have to seek that out or would want that. But if that's something that they needed, then I would be amenable to it.
So so help me understand. Because it sounds like y'all, both of y'all, now I'll get to you, Chris, in a second about this question, but both of y'all are open to a threesome. You said that you're open to a hall pass. So it sounds like the difference between what you have and an open relationship is semantics. It's just the word open.
No, I don't think that's it.
Like, what do you think open is? What is this definition of open that's looming in your head that has you so averted to it?
To me, no, open to me means that you're able to have a lot of flexibility in who you see, who you date, and who you sleep with, separate of your partner.
But you just said you're open to that because that's called a hall pass.
If you see it as a hall pass, I said I'm open to anything that will make my partner happy if I love my partner. However, it is an ideal or something I would want, and it's not ideal for me.
Okay,
It's not something I would want, but it's something I'm open to because I'm more concerned about making sure that my partner is happy, is satisfied, and has what he needs.
But could you
or they need
accept that there are levels of open that are not as laissez-faire as you have defined them?
No, there are. It's all about how the people in that relationship structure their relationship, and every relationship is just like every human. It is personal.
Okay, so the only reason that what if your partner asks for a hall pass?
I think that I would consider it in a healthy and happy space.
How healthy and happy could it be if he needs a hall pass?
Sex and emotions, as we know, are not always tied. But if we were happy and if we were healthy and I did not feel insecure in the partnership,
Okay.
I think that I could consider it. It couldn't be like an ex, or anything crazy like that.
There
but
will be rules.
There would certainly be rules and monitoring to some degree. I can't say yes or no, but I would consider it.
And so the reason why this is so interesting to me is because the definition of open relationship I have is very different than what y'all have said. To me, open relationship is just everything has to be an agreement between us. Every aspect of our relationship has to be an agreement. Whether it is hall passes, threesomes, we play separately, we play together, all of those things, love, relationships, everything is a conversation and an agreement.
That's a relationship.
Which is why when y'all say like, "Oh, I'm open to a hall pass," I'm like, "Well, what the fuck? What is monogamy then?"
We're talking about instances, and you're talking about general expectations of the relationship, and that's the difference. There is no expectation that we will be doing any of those things, but if an instance came up, then we could discuss it, right? But that's not the standard. That's not the expectation. It's not something that may happen again if it happens once. So
but
that's
are you
the difference.
Are you even open to the idea that what you just described is an open relationship?
No, I'm closed off to that.
Okay. Yeah. So the distinction is semantics.
Yeah,
if open relationship A and your relationship have the exact same foundation and the only distinction is you call that monogamy and they call it open, and you are not willing to bridge the gap, then the idea is you are open to open. You just refuse to call it that.
I'm not going to let you make it the same. It's not the same.
But what if it could be?
Having an instance in a relationship where I slept with someone else and my partner slept with someone else is not the same of being in it's not the same as being in a relationship where that is the expectation. Like that is the understanding. That is the general rule that's okay.
But what if it isn't?
Well, you're making something different.
What if you're making it something? That's what all I'm offering is.
Well, I'm traditional. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I'm not making it too different. I go a little.
It's a whole bunch of little niggas in the rim, Georgia. But the reason why this conversation was important to me is because I really authentically believe that the traditional girls in our culture are so married to language that they are not absolutely interrogating the meaning of these words. That's why this conversation is impactful to me. And what all I'm offering is there are every shade, size, and color of open relationship. And some people may define it just as you have. And you could define it just as you have. But if the idea is you are so connected to the word monogamy as opposed to the foundation of it, then that might be the disconnect in some of the conversations we have as y'all want people to disclose these things up front. That's why I say disclosing the type of relationship I want up front doesn't allow us to have these type of conversations to understand what these words actually mean. And what y'all are telling me is you're closed off to understanding what it means because you're closed off to open, when we could, in fact, be saying the exact same thing, just calling it something different.
But it's not ideal for us. We don't want to go into a situation like that. We're saying if we're in a situation and this comes up, this is something that we may or may not consider, but we're not choosing this. We're not walking through that hallway.
But all I'm offering is, what if we have the exact same definition of these things? It's just the word we have at the top is different.
Then we're open to open. And that's fine. Like it's the semantics and it doesn't matter, right? Like it's fine. We are open to open. We're open to open. And that's that.
Are you fucking happy?
Okay. I mean, I ain't dating, and none of the three of us are dating. Got it. Brandon said, "Why would you need a hall pass in an open relationship? You trying to fuck? You trying to fuck my cousin?" He said, "You trying to fuck my cousin?"
So I was in a relationship that had hall passes.
Not that you have a story about.
No, not about cousins.
Okay, good. Thank God.
I was in a relationship that had the one I was telling you about that had hall passes, where we would say, "Hey, I met Larry at the Denny's. Me and Larry."
These are hypothetical names, please.
Yeah, me and Larry went out after, getting a couple drinks, and me and Larry slept together. Didn't get his.
Wait,
number.
they would tell you this after the fact,
or before, immediately after.
See, after
or
the
before.
fact. See, that's where I would have a red line. You can't tell me. You can't do
maybe
some
that's
shit
why I'm
and then
burnt.
tell me about it. I need to know. I gotta give you the hall pass before you take it. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's what I was telling you. That's the difference between having instances and having an expectation. We had an expectation that the relationship offered hall passes. So
okay, now that's different.
It was different.
Yeah, I would never go for that.
I didn't for long.
Well, clearly, because you got a different man, a good man. Presumably, I hope.
That was a good man. No shade, no shade to nobody.
Fair.
No shade to nobody.
Got it.
I love all God's people.
Oh God, here we go. Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. What is stigma? I truly believe that it comes up when you think something can't happen to you. Like when we think we could never be femme, so we end up with femmephobia laced all up and through our dating profiles. Or when we don't be out there like that, so we slut shame people for doing openly what we try to sneak and do privately. But there aren't too many spaces where stigma rises to a criminal level like it does with HIV.
Knowingly gave her HIV and never told her he was infected.
We're talking to 4 black men from across the country, all living with HIV. I want to see how stigma comes up in their lives and what we can all do to overcome it. All right, we are back here in the back room, and hot take, they are open to open. Y'all came around.
No. Don't get no idea.
Okay, so I want to thank my guests, Dr. Zachary Kirk and Chris McKinley. If you would like to connect with either of them or both, links to their socials are in the description. That was our show. Normally I do a little thing, but that was our show. You got some music with that, Aaron? Okay, I got one comment from Instagram says yes, but what if he's in a transitional phase? What if he has a job he doesn't like but currently upskilling himself to move on to another career? I posted on Instagram about 5 things that men in their 30s cannot stand, and that was the comment. If he's on his way somewhere on any path, I'm absolutely here for it. Next comment says, child, ain't no way I'm talking to a man for a year. You get 3 to 4 months to figure out if you like me enough to be with me. If not, I'm moving on. This was an episode that we did 2 weeks ago about cheaters, where someone said they talked to somebody for a year. I could never talk to somebody for a year without a label or some forward motion. That's just me. That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. If you're feeling this content, be sure to subscribe to Dear Black Gay Men on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show or an upload. I am Jay the Gentleman. This has been Dear Black Gay Men Podcast, live from the back room, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.